Joining us in the studio today, Cindy Verge, Executive Director of the Skagit Valley Tulip Festival. Cindy, good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I am doing great.
It is that time of year again. Skagit Valley Tulip Festival, the 30th?
30th festival.
Oh, wonderful.
Wow. Yeah, I know.
Runs all April long. Tell us about the first Tulip Festival. I'm kind of curious. I mean, it's been 30 years. How'd this all start?
It started with the Mount Vernon Chamber. A group of folks from the Mount Vernon Chamber said, gosh, we have people coming all over to see our flowers. Let's do something. And so they started a little event, and it had a doll show.
Okay.
We had
idea was that?
I don't know, a street fair. We had I can't remember if it was a salmon barbecue or a chicken barbecue, but there was barbecue food, and it lasted a couple of days. And then the next year was kind of the same, and we didn't really even do a poster. It was more just an advertisement, and then all of a sudden it just took off.
Wow.
And eventually, after I think about 10 years of operation, the Tulip Festival became its own private nonprofit corporation.
Mm-hmm.
And at about the 20-year time frame, we actually moved out into a place of our own. Prior to that, we had been with the Mount Vernon Chamber, housing with them, and we started our poster program. In 1993, we started actually commissioning artists to do artwork for us and owning those pieces. And it's kind of grown and morphed into what we have today, which is the 30 days. Because at first it was the 2 days, and then it morphed into 10 days, 2 weekends in the time between. And then for a long time it was 17 days. But as everyone knows, you don't know when the tulips are going to bloom.
That's right.
And so even with 17 days, you would miss sometimes the tulip bloom one way or the other. And so finally we just said, let's do it all 30 days. That way we know we have tulips during the Tulip Festival, and we can schedule events and activities throughout the entire month. And we have 2 gorgeous gardens. And because the nature of the gardens are show gardens, they're showcasing all the possible varieties of tulips. So you have tulips pretty much the entire month of April at both Tulip Town and Roosengaarde. And people say gardens. Well, Roosengaarde is 3 acres. But they plant over 250,000 bulbs in those 3 acres.
Wow. And
Tulip Town, it's just this little garden where they plant like 10 acres of tulips and rainbow stripes. So it's not like you'll only see like 2 or 3 tulips. You'll see lots of tulips at both gardens all month. And then the field flowers are Washington Bulb Company's what you might call production flowers or crop flowers. Those are picked for cut flowers. And then in the fall, the bulbs are harvested for their bulb catalog and for sale to people, and then those same bulbs are also used in their greenhouse production.
Now the bulbs are distributed worldwide, is that correct?
Yes, they
They're
are.
one of the leading bulb exporters, aren't they, in the world?
I don't know about bulb exporters. I know producers. They are the largest bulb producer in North America. They produce and grow, besides the tulips, they also do daffodils and iris. And so the amount of fields that they have in production in the acreage is pretty substantial. And they've morphed as the market has changed. People want those cut flowers, and they're willing to pay for them. And so Washington Bulb now has cut tulips available 365 days a year.
Wow. Now, is that some of them? I remember attending a committee meeting, and they were talking about a lot of the manufacturers or bulb tulip manufacturers or growers have gone indoors now with being able to grow them indoors,
right,
where they're not dependent on the weather. And we were talking off of mic about we're back on a normal weather pattern for tulip growing.
We are. The past 2 or 3 years have been very late tulip bloom. With those field production flowers, whereas right now we're right back where we usually are. Start blooming about the 3rd to the 5th of April, and then they're there for 2.5 weeks, and that's normally when our tulips bloom, is earlier in the month rather than later in the month.
So it's cooperating again.
It is. It is.
It makes your life a lot easier.
Well, yes, because folks, well, actually, we got the first calls of when the tulips are going to bloom this spring, about in May of 2012.
Oh, is that right?
Wow.
So you know
Yes.
that far ahead. You're like, whew, makes your life a lot easier.
Well, generally at that point you say you pick the middle of the month, and that's usually safe because you're going to see flowers one way or
Right,
the
yeah,
other.
right.
So,
That's true.
Yeah.
Not just the tulips, but you're still going to see some daffodils.
yes, you will.
Because they
Yes.
usually bloom, a couple, 3 weeks before the tulips kick in, right?
They do. And then the daffodils are a different kind of flower. Daffodils are like the hardiest thing you can possibly grow. And so they don't have to be cut. The tulips at the end of their growth cycle have to be topped so the petals don't fall amongst the leaves, and they can cause disease if they do that. And they also want the tulip bulbs to grow, whereas daffodils, you just leave the flowers on the stem. And so even though the color might start to wane as the month goes on, you have yellow and white daffodils for quite a bit of time out in the fields.
Oh, nice.
Now, in the past, traffic has definitely played its part in getting in and around the viewing of the tulips and as such. You talked about some of the new things that you're going to do to kind of help visitors with traffic. What's going on there?
Well, we're slow but sure getting into the digital age. And this year, the Skagit County Sheriff's Office, who is going to be providing traffic control for us during the festival, they'll be tweeting live traffic updates. So you can find those tweets by hashtag tulip traffic, all one word. And we also will be reposting those tweets if you're following us, and you can sign up to follow us on our website.
Good. That's going to help make it
Yeah.
a lot easier to get some instant updates.
I hope so. And then we've also been working with Washington State Department of Transportation, and we actually have a direct link to the traffic cams in the Mount Vernon, Burlington area. So people coming from either the north or the south can click on that link and actually see what traffic looks like on the freeways.
Very good.
And use Highway 20. Come
Yeah,
towards
that's what's always
Anacortes.
the same.
Use Highway
Use Highway
20.
What are some of the events that are surrounding the Tulip Festival? What can visitors do?
Oh, you can do just about anything. We have art shows going on throughout the month. There's different art shows going on. You can stop by and sample some of the official chocolate of the Tulip Festival. We have wineries that have tours going on. And then we've brought in alpacas this year. There's South Fork Farms in South Mount Vernon. It has their alpacas. You can come and look at them and see the products that are coming from their fur. I guess it's fur, wool. Anyway, it's alpaca fiber. I'm not sure what you call it. Yarn. And then we also have a sheep shearing outfit going on.
okay.
That sounds like fun.
There's
Yeah.
some folks
That's
in
new, right?
again in South Mount Vernon. Yes, it is. And this one isn't even in the brochure because they contacted us once the brochure was printed. And they're actually will be shearing their sheep and doing demonstrations for the 4 weekends during April. And that promises to be real interesting for folks that haven't seen that before.
No, the brochure is available at the Tulip Festival at the store, right?
At our
the
office
yeah.
in downtown Mount Vernon, and we'll get you some here. I don't know
Okay.
if you have any here yet,
We don't.
but that way folks can get them. If they're in Anacortes right now, I know they can go to the visitor center because they're fully stocked.
Good.
Okay. Excellent.
And if you're curious, seeing Cindy Verge, we're going to be posting this. We're actually videotaping this interview right now.
Yep.
And we'll be posting it on their Facebook page.
Yes.
So you can look up the Tulip Festival on Facebook,
Yes.
give them a like, and check out the video.
And-
And this will be a weekly thing.
Yes, it
It'll
will be.
on
Will
Tuesdays
be.
at 9.
It'll either be myself or our sponsorship coordinator, David Johnson,
Okay.
who even has a better radio voice than me.
That's not possible, Cindy.
Yes, it
That's
is.
So you've been busy now. You're taking care of all the final little details to make this all happen.
We are, and this is the fun time of year when
Good.
folks start coming in and wanting to see the flowers,
Yeah.
and we have lots of events and activities going
Yeah.
on, and I always feel like the festival is blooming right along with the tulips.
Well, I would imagine this is a year-round commitment for you, right?
It
It's
is.
not just
Yep.
you're done and then you can take off 6 months and not have to worry about it. It's a year-long process.
We'll start working on the 2014 festival at the end of May of 2013.
Wow. Wow.
And we start out with kind of the year-end retreat with our board of directors where we look at, okay, what did we do good? What did we do bad? What do we need to change? What do we need to keep working on? Kind of incorporate those goals, set a budget for the next year, and take off.
Good. And one last question I have for you. A couple years ago, we had the Tulip World Summit here. Where is it this year?
There's not one this year. There
Okay.
was one last fall, and that was in, we did not attend that one. It was in the corner of the Netherlands, Germany, and Belgium. So
Okay.
it was a floriade that was going on in that area, and so there were different things in different countries, and we were unable to attend, but we're hoping to get to the one in Turkey,
Interesting.
which will be in 2014.
Turkey.
Well, that's the birthplace of the tulips.
I had no idea.
The Turks.
Did you know that, Glenn?
It's a fun flower fact.
It is a fun flower fact, and the Turks, were they Tsars or Sultans? I think they were.
Yeah.
They owned the tulip bulbs as they started propagating them. They found them wild in the mountains, and the people that were in charge of their gardens were also their executioners. And you never wanted to go for a walk with the gardener.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm glad to see things have changed over the years.
So, Skagit Valley Tulip Festival this year, it runs throughout the month of April. Where can folks find out more information? We've talked about the brochure. Can you tell us briefly about the website?
It's chock full of information
Yeah.
at www.tulipfestival.org. And I think you all do a link from your website as well.
We do.
Yep.
Yep.
We will have
And,
that up a little bit later on today.
That way it's real easy for folks to get on there. We have all the events and activities. We have maps, tulip history, just about everything people can find
Great.
will be on our website.
Excellent.
Well, good. Well, we're glad to have you stop by and talk about it. We look forward to speaking with you again next week on an update and see how things are going.
And thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure.